So today I want to talk to you guys about some of the shifts I'm seeing in energy patterns, and I want to see if you guys are feeling it too, and then tie it back to some interesting things like Gen X and business. And so this comes up because last week I was reflecting on my week, and last week I had some really interesting experiences, and they're showing me a pattern that I haven't really seen before. I think it's new on the planet. So let me tell you a couple of stories. One of them is I work with somebody, I have a good friend, and we were talking. And she was talking to me about how she'd gotten sick. And she's like, I don't know what this is about. I just want to give you some context. She works with really, really high frequency energies. She's a spiritual teacher. She tends to work with like high ascended master, galactic, and other energies in her work. She's very good at working with that. And because of the work she's doing, she's bringing in a lot more energy there and new frequencies are coming in. So we know this. And she's run a couple of new projects. So for her people. So she's actually been working with the energy. And when she got sick, she's like, I don't know where this came from. Like, it's not making sense for me right now. And um, also, she checked in with her medical intuitives because, she has her support team. And they had said it wasn't viral, it's not bacterial. And she's like, yeah, but it feels like the flu. It's like, okay. And so, this is the way my intuition works. Like, there's some things I have context for because I've been trained or I've experienced or I've learned it from my brain. But there's a whole other component that when people have questions, I receive information and it often kind of merges with what I know, but then new stuff comes in. So for her, my answer was, listen, because of the work you do, it's very possible that you have expanded like your data banks and within your soul consciousness, because there's different layers of that. And you could have something out of alignment there. You could have a virus or some sort of pathogen, may not have the name virus or bacteria, and it's affecting your physical body. So, I mean, that was for me felt very correct for what was going on for her. And in truth, I think some of that is happening, especially with people working with really, really high frequency energies and beings. So that was one where it's like, I haven't had like that hasn't come up in the past for me. Um, then I had another experience with a friend who was talking about how she went to the movies. She was watching a show and she was like, it was period piece. It's like every time in the past when she's watched period pieces, they had a certain feeling tone, like she could imagine herself in that time. She could feel the time. And this time she's like, she messaged me and she's like, I think you're the only person I know who could even understand this or help make meaning of it. She's like, when I was at the movies, I was watching the period piece, and she's like, it's like that time was gone. She's like, I have a memory of it because it's history in our life on the planet, but it wasn't there any longer. It was very disconcerting. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds like it makes sense given the way that we're shifting 3D and 5D or, old Earth, new Earth. So at some level, either some of us have moved outside of that frequency, or maybe the frequency's gone and they just exist as memories and not as active timelines for some people. So those are my stories for context. But what I really want to bring this back to is how we're all kind of shifting this energy. And now it brings me to looking at it from a larger pattern. I'm always interested in what's shifting because the women I work with, we're not doing traditional work, even though it looks like it on the surface. There's something else that we're doing because a lot of the work we're doing is about spiritual self-reflection, development of the soul, consciousness. And that brings me to Gen X. This has been coming up for me too because I focus my work into work with women over 40. And that essentially puts me in the Gen X category. Um, and I've always known Gen X to be like our role on the planet was to be a bridge from the old to the new, be a bridge that transforms energy from what was to what we're wishing for. So as a Gen X person, I can make meaning of my life in my 40s is being like, well, I came here to carry the extra karma that we wanted to clear. And I chose it as a soul. And yeah, my 40s were hard, but I've cleared karmic patterns. And I was in that front runner range where I knew that I was here to help move the indigo energy to support in the star seeds. And that means that I'm here to support the next generation and make sure that the energy is here for them so they can be successful in transforming what's available for all of us. I've always understood that. But at this level, it feels like we're entering like a new age or new era of responsibility or new, it's not responsibility. It's like we have new potentials available to us in this Gen X world because we have succeeded. We did bring in higher frequency energies. We did clear the karma. We did do that work. And now everything's accelerating in a pretty awesome way. That means it's accelerating for us too. And it's opening up new ways that we're working with energy. And because we had a role, it's not like that role has changed. We're still going to be introducing new things. And so we're still discovering what we came here to do. We're still discovering like the new patterns and the new blueprints. And we're taking what was from before and scaling it up to make it more available and more relevant for the new age of energy. And that's a generic way of saying it, but like we're talking in the practical world, AI, new inventions in any science, new ways of healing, new ways of teaching, new ways of learning, new systems and structures for how we put all this together. But at their core, you all know that's all existing in the energy fields. Like we're all having to just figure out how to hold that energy, not just at a mental level, but in our fields collectively. So if you're Gen X and you've been having those experiences where like you're confused, you're not really sure, everything feels harder than it should, you've had this desire to get things going and they're not getting going, and it's okay. What I've learned through going through that process is saying, all right, something new is coming into the form, and I have to give it permission. I have to allow it, and I have to not judge it. So it takes a while for us to get clear about what it is. And when we stop judging, like, oh, I wish it was further along, or something's wrong with me, or if only I could use my mind to get it done. When we let that go and lean more fully into seeing the patterns that are available to us, the more quickly it'll reveal itself. And for many of us, it has to do a lot with slowing down. It has to do a lot with listening. It has a lot to do with honoring our own energy field. For some of us, it still has to do with clearing energies and transforming the ways that we're living into the smaller self and to our fears, right? So I just wanted to give you guys some perspective on what I'm seeing shifting and how it's going to be shifting our work, and then supporting us, supporting each of us as we navigate the creation of the new. So if any of this resonated with you, please let me know. Like, it's always great to meet a new person on this journey. It's not like there's a title for us. It's always some lengthy description like I've given. Yeah, but I hope it's helpful to you. There are really interesting things shifting for people. And we don't have context. There are no books. There's no training. There's really no awareness. And the only way we can build it into something meaningful for a collective is when we come together and when we reveal it and when we talk about it. So that's why I'm here talking about it. If you're one of me's, if you're another one of me's, please let me know. We'll find a way to connect and pull everyone together. All right. Take care. Have a good day. Happy Monday. And you'll see me tomorrow sometime.